Will the Los Angeles Lakers be better or worse going into next season when comparing their team last year after a huge overhaul of an offseason for them? This offseason, they have lost LeBron James. Of course, we all saw him go to the 76ers. DeAndre Ayton went to the Wizards. Rui Hachimura went on to the other LA team with the Los Angeles Clippers. Marcus Smart to the Rockets. Jackson Hayes to the Jazz. And Luke Kennard to the Phoenix Suns. So they have lost a good amount of players, 6 players, 3 of them starters, 4 of them starters really. Marcus Smart had a good amount of starting time for the Lakers, especially in the playoffs, and had huge impactful minutes. They lost 4 main guys, 6 very good players, and I'm going to go over who they gained. They gained Walker Kessler, of course, from the Utah Jazz, Quentin Grimes, Sandro Mamukelashvili, Colin Sexton, Matisse Thybulle, Kevon Looney, Jaden Hardy, Cameron Carr, and Arthur Kaluma. So they have gotten a lot of players and also losing a lot of players. Another overhaul, just huge transition from one team to another that we've seen the Lakers do multiple times over the last couple years. And then, of course, they also re-signed Austin Reeves to that 4-year, $184 million deal. Average money per year on that deal is $46 million, so that is a lot of money for Austin Reeves. This is not grading their offseason, really, but this is going to be me thinking, are they better or worse going into next year? So going into this completely new transformation of a roster, this starting 5 is looking like Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Quentin Grimes, Sandro Mamukelashvili, and Walker Kessler, while the bench looks like Colin Sexton, Jaden Hardy, Bronny James, Cameron Carr, Dalton Connect, Matisse Thybulle, Jake LaRavia, Zaire Williams, Adu Thero, Arthur Kaluma, Jared Vanderbilt, and Kevon Looney. A lot of players, a lot of new players in that bench, and a lot of new players in that starting 5 as well. And comparing it to last season's starting lineup, when healthy, would be Luka, Austin Reeves, LeBron, Rui Hachimura, DeAndre Ayton, and then the bench would be Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, Luke Kennard, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, Jared Vanderbilt, Nick Smith Jr., Maxi Kleber, Dalton Connect, and then Bronny James. This 2025-26 team went 53-29, pretty overachieving season for them, especially when you look at where they were projected in preseason. They went on to be the 4th seed out west, made it to the 2nd round, beating the Houston Rockets and then losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder in 4. The team was 9th in the league in offensive rating, and then 19th in the league in defensive rating, and then 14th in the league in net rating. The question is, can this Luka-led 26-27 Lakers team, new revamped roster and all, do better than that this season? The offense being led by Luka will always be great. We've seen that since he was in Dallas, since his rookie season. Anytime an offense is surrounded by him, great things will happen. And you add that with all the offensive weapons that Rob Pelinka and the Lakers surrounded Luka with, that offense is going to be very good. They were 9th in the league last year in offensive rating. They might be around that or even better this coming up season with guys like Mamu, Quentin Grimes. All these guys can shoot. They got Walker Kessler, who's a real center that can catch lobs. And Walker Kessler in general is just a better paint presence of an offensive player, an offensive center than DeAndre Ayton ever was. He can be someone that can catch lobs for Luka. And if they need him to, he can hit a 3 once in a while. Last season, he only played 5 games, and he tied his career high for threes in a season with 6, a mark he had gotten the previous year after playing 58 games. So last season, it did look like he was trying to incorporate a 3-point shot more. And with all the open looks you'll see this year, I can only imagine Kessler is just going to keep getting better and better from beyond the arc. But yeah, Walker Kessler, a great addition, even offensively, with what he can do, especially compared to DeAndre Ayton, just fit-wise with Luka. And then you add Austin Reeves, of course, re-signed him. Mamu can be very good shooting the ball off the dribble. Grimes can be a nice spot-up shooter for Luka Doncic to find. The bench offense as well with Colin Sexton, Cameron Carr, Bronny, maybe Adu Thero if he continues to develop. Zaire Williams. That bench is pretty decent, I guess, offensively. Front court wise is not anything special, but that backcourt, Colin Sexton, Cameron Carr, and Bronny, that's not a bad offensive backcourt. They are very small, but I mean, offensively, I think they can hold their own, especially when like Luka's out or Austin Reeves is out or something like that. But offense as a whole on this team is pretty good. Mostly everyone can shoot. A lot of guys that can also put the ball on the floor, and you won't be too worried about it. And by far for this team, they will be absolutely relying on their offense day in and day out for them to carry them to wins and in the playoffs and stuff like that. Defensively is where this team has major flaws. This team already wasn't great on that end last season. I'm not going to say they weren't good or they weren't okay at times. They definitely got the job done when they needed to, but especially in the playoffs and stuff like that against the Houston Rockets. But losing a guy like Marcus Smart, even LeBron, just like, I know LeBron's not the greatest lockdown in the world anymore, but it's just the intensity, I guess you can say, when you need it most. This team just doesn't have that anymore, especially on that starting lineup. Last season, I felt like they weren't great defensively, but I can trust them down the wire, especially in the second half of the season going into the playoffs. If they needed to get a stop, they would try everything in their power to get that. And this team, I just don't see that same intensity in that team and the starting lineup. I know you got Walker Kessler out there as the interior defender, rim protector, all that stuff. But everything else, especially in the perimeter, is just not great. Mamu, Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, not all good defenders. I know Luka can try once in a while, but when a team doesn't have the intensity to have a good team defense, I don't know if I'm going to see Luka just being out there and inspiring everyone to play good defense. Quentin Grimes can be decent at times, but just as a collective, this is not a good collective defensive team that I cannot see them guarding guys like Shea on OKC, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper on San Antonio, Jalen Brunson, New York, Philadelphia, all their guards, Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown, even Denver and Minnesota, Jamal Murray, Anthony Edwards, and LaMelo, all these guys on the perimeter that you're going to have to worry about in the playoffs and even in the regular season, that you gotta beat at some point if you want to have a run in the playoffs. I just can't see any of these guys guarding them at a high level that you need them to. The team defense, in my opinion, is going to be easily worse than last year, and last year it wasn't even that great as it is. There's a scenario, of course, where they can find a way to be middle of the pack. Maybe Luka does bring it, who knows? That's always a big if. So if they're able to be middle of the pack with the new additions of Walker Kessler, Matisse Thybulle, Quentin Grimes, if Luka can buy in, like I said, if the whole team can buy into a good defense, in theory, all this sounds really good, and if they can just be okay, their offense will take them all the way. But this is all in theory and a very big if that I just don't see happening. This team, I believe, can be better offensively than last year, even with losing guys like LeBron James and Rui Hachimura and stuff like that. But all the weight does go back on Luka Doncic, and with his health, it's always going to be kind of a weary situation with all the offensive pressure and offensive load being on Luka Doncic. He has to stay healthy if this team wants to go far, especially in the playoffs. And even Austin Reeves has some health concerns, because you can, of course, say if Luka has some sort of health thing going on, if maybe he's got to be out for a week or a couple of days or something like that, you can always rely on a guy like Austin Reeves to be the primary ball handler. But even Austin Reeves, we saw last year, had some health concerns. So just the backcourt of this team has some weariness when it comes to staying on the court. If they're on the court, that's going to be great. Their offense is going to be rolling. But this team is not deep enough to be able to have no worry in the world for a guy like Luka to get hurt or Austin Reeves to get hurt. The defense isn't going to be good either. I really don't think. The depth, like I said, is not good. The bench is okay. The main thing is their offense. That is the main thing that they have going to be relying on in this season. And when so much of it is on one player or two players with Reeves, it's going to be hard for this team to be good in the regular season and then also be good in the postseason when you have so many teams like the Thunder and the Spurs that have just gotten better and better, even the Timberwolves that have gotten so much better. Another thing to look at when considering, is this team going to be really good, clicking in all cylinders in the regular season, even if they do have a good offensive team on paper, this team has changed so much. This roster has been moved around so much that these guys have not played with each other because there's so many new guys on the team. So it's just most of the time when stuff like that happens, we've seen it with the Lakers multiple times in the last couple of years. For example, that I believe it was 21-22 season with Russell Westbrook. It just doesn't click all the time right away, if at all. Chemistry does have to build for a little bit, and of course they'll do that in the off season and going into training camp and everything like that. But so is every other team, and every other team for the most part that you're going to be competing against is just more talented and more cohesive, I believe. In a league that got without a doubt better and better this offseason, so many teams getting so many new additions and stuff like that, it does feel like the NBA got better faster than the Lakers can keep up with. For example, all these teams I'm about to list off, I do see being better than the Lakers this season. The OKC Thunder, the San Antonio Spurs, the Denver Nuggets, Minnesota Timberwolves, the New York Knicks, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Toronto Raptors, if the Kawhi trade goes through, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers, the Houston Rockets, and honestly, maybe even the Phoenix Suns and Miami Heat. That one I'm going to put an asterisk behind. But all the other ones before them, I do see them being better. Even if it's by a game or so, I do think they're going to be better. So last season, the Lakers were tied for the 6th best winning percentage in the league. This year, I don't even think they're going to be top 10. Of course, this is a scenario where everybody's healthy, so you never know what could happen. Injuries everywhere could make the Lakers a top 5 team when it comes to winning percentage. But just off of health going good and everything for every single team, I do think the Lakers aren't even going to crack the top 10 in winning percentage this coming up season. The final verdict, as you can probably assume after hearing everything I have to say about the Lakers, while I do think they can be a fun offensive team, I do think they still have a lot of flaws, and I think the Lakers lost too much and not gained enough for me to say they will be better going into next season. They've had so many moving parts, new additions, not enough defense, not enough depth, and just so many teams getting so much better around them that this team, I believe, is going to be in the playing games, definitely in the higher part of the playing games, if not making that 6th seed at max. But that is my prediction if I had to put one for the Los Angeles Lakers coming into next season. 6th seed at max, but I do believe they're going to probably be trying to fight to get out of that playing game, like that 6th through 8th spot. So if you're a Lakers fan, let me know if you have some more optimism about this team going into next season, or if you're a little bit more pessimistic when it comes to what this team is going to be able to do next season, and if you think this team is better or worse than that last Lakers team in the 2025-26 season. If you guys like this video, hit the like button down below, subscribe button, notification bell so you can be notified as soon as I upload, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.